Hello everyone, let's create a new React.js project. React.js is a front-end framework to use to develop web applications, and we are using an editor called VS Code. So if you are not aware of the VS Code, just search in the Google and download the editor. Okay, so to start the React.js project, we must install Node.js in our computer. How do you install the Node.js? Just follow this URL and download the package from this URL and follow the instructions. Once you successfully install, there is a way to check whether the Node.js installed successfully or not. Just run these packages node-v and npm-v in an editor, and you will get to know whether these Node.js is installed successfully or not in your computer. When you are running this command node-v and npm-v, you will see some version numbers of your package. If you see any version number of your package, then Node.js is successfully installed in your computer. Okay, and if you get something error or something not found or any other error, then Node.js is not installed. We need both node and npm, and it is there in single package which you download from the URL. And to create a new project, we will run this command npx create react app, and this my app is our project name. You can give anything you want. This we will do it later after this introduction is done. And the prerequisites for the React.js are you must have a knowledge on HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, after learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript only you can start the React.js. And why do we go for the React.js? We use React.js for single page applications. What is single page application? Let me show you. If you observe this website, right, Apple website, this is header, right? This part is header. And see, you click anything, any on button from the header, you see this part, this page is getting reloaded again. This whole page is reloading, right? If I click anything like this, watch this again. So this Apple website is an example for not a single page application. This is not an example of single page application. It is not developed in single page application. Like we will see an example of single page application now. See if the example YouTube, right? For example, if you click anything, any tab here, you see observe there is no loading part here. This title will change, but this loading, this website is not getting loaded again and again. It will load at the single time and single launch. See if I click again home, see. And if I click anything like your movies or something, see, nothing is getting reloaded here. This YouTube is an example for single page application, and Apple website is example for not a single page application, right? So you got an idea of what are single page applications, right? What is now if you see again, the code reusability for React.js is better than Vanilla.js, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript projects, and flexibility and fast development. The same time which you do for the development, like for example, you're doing HTML, you are using HTML, CSS, JavaScript for a website. If you're developing a project it takes you 4 days, in the same single day you can develop the same work. The work which can be done in 4 days in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the same work can be done in single day in React.js. If you take an example of this, if it is a website, like you see this part is an header and this part is a footer and it's a body, right? So website contains header, footer and body, right? These three things. And in React.js, normal in Vanilla.js, what you write in a single page, you write header, body, footer, right? Everything you include in single page. But here in React.js, we take everything as a component. Header we will write in separate file, body we will write in separate file, body as a component, header is as a one component, and footer is as like a one component. If you want to know what is component, the component code, everything we will I will show you later after this introduction is done. And so we will go to the how to create a React.js project, and what are components and what is component code, how to create everything. We will see it now. Now let's go to the terminal and create a new React.js project, and we will see the React.js development. Let's go to the practical and create a React.js project. To create a React.js project, first we need to choose the folder. See, let me come, I'm creating the React.js project in this folder. I have a folder called React.js. Inside this, you can choose your any folder you want to create, and I want to create the projects inside this folder. So for that, I need to open the terminal at this project, at this folder. Okay, before that, let me show you the Visual Studio Code. This is the Visual Studio Code. So, and this is the editor which we are going to use for the React.js. Okay, so we will come to the editor once we create the project through the terminal. Okay, so to create the project inside this folder, I will right click on this and I'll click on this open in terminal. See, once the terminal is open in this folder, if I type ls, I can see that MyApp1 and React T1 are the existing React projects there. So to create a new project, I need to type a command, and I already told you if we type node -v, we should get some versions, right? So the properly Node.js is installed in your computer. So once the properly installed, I need to write a command npm create react app, and I'm using the command called npx here, not npm, npx space create react app space project name. Project name I'll give test app 1. Okay, so I need to click on enter. Once I click the enter, it will download the packages from the internet. It will take some time based upon your internet speed and computer speed. If both are good, it will take a couple of minutes. Else, in some computers, it will take some 10 to 15 minutes on some slower computers. Let's wait. Installation is done. You can see here it has downloaded some packages. Okay, now it is done. If you don't see any errors here, means the installation creation of the project is done. So let me close the terminal, and if I go to this folder, inside this folder I can see this test app 1. My project folder is created with some files and folders, and I need to open this folder, test app 1 folder, in the Visual Studio Code. So let me close this and let me open my Visual Studio Code and go to the file and open folder. Okay, here I can see I can go to this path, and this is my project test app 1. Select this folder. Once you select this folder, okay, and let us run the hello world plain project default code. I changed nothing. Okay, so let me run the default code. Go to the terminal and click on new terminal. It is an internal terminal of the Visual Studio Code. Okay, we have seen the external terminal earlier. Now this is the internal terminal of this Visual Studio Code. Here, type the command npm start. Once you click this, it will automatically open your browser and open the project in the localhost 3000 port number. You see, this is the default code. If you want to change this code and from where it is running, you want to see, if you see this src folder here, right? Inside this src folder, you see this app.js. The code is getting executed from this folder. So let me clear this code, and if I write something here, hello world, and if I go and see, you see the hello world. I have removed the existing code because everything we will write from the scratch, and we will understand what was the earlier code and how to write a new code here. Okay, so now before going to the code, let us understand the structure of the project. Here you see public folder and src folder. So we will use this public folder later, but right now we do not require this. So our main project work is in the src folder. Inside this folder, we see some files with the name of app. Okay, this is our main file which we have edited and inserted hello world, and we have app.css. Here we can write our css classes. Okay, css classes here, and test.js, we will discuss this later. So we will work on app.js file here. Okay, and we will not touch index.js because this is running the component called app. If you want to change the default component app.js, you can change, and that component should be inserted here. But right now our component is app, so I will keep it as it is. Now if you go to the package.json, this is our imported file. Here our all dependencies are there. Okay, if you want to add any dependency or any package, external package or library, whatever you install, it will come here. So by seeing the package.json file, anyone can understand, okay, these many packages or libraries are used in this project, and the version number and app name is mentioned here. Okay, so right now I will let us go to the app.js and understand the structure of the code. If you see the first and two lines, these are importing something from other project, other files. Okay, if you write anything externally, you can import here. For example, if I write something, I'll create one file, test.js, and I'll write some function abc okay, abc. Okay, I'll create some xyz function, and inside this function I will write anything console.log hello, I am abc, and the function spelling is wrong. Okay, now I have created the function, and I will export this function, export default xyz, the same thing like this function. Now this function can be used in app.js by importing it. Import, how do you use that? Import, write the function name xyz. See, automatically from the test file it is importing this function xyz. If you want xyz, you can use in your this app.js file. Okay, this is how we can import our functions. Okay, now I do not require this. Okay, now if you observe the file path of this app.js, like test.js, what I have taken here, I have written the function, I have exported it, and here the same function with the name app is written here, and it is returning something. It is returning HTML code, and this function is getting exported here on the line 13. And if you observe index.js, the same app function, app from /app, is getting imported here and used here. Okay, so and the whole thing, this thing is called a component. This thing is called a component. And here, if test.js, if you return something, if it is now, it is a normal function. If you return an HTML code like this, if you observe, return returning some HTML code. Now xyz is a component now. This is called component in React.js. I have written a function which is returning some HTML code and exporting it. Now you can use that component here. Import. Now xyz is one component and app is also one component. Now this app component is directly running and executing here, showing the result. Okay, if you want to show the result of your xyz component, you can import the component like this. It is not showing the result here because we have taken the function com name with the smaller case. But remember, when you are creating a component, it should start with capital letter. Okay, now if you import with the same capital letter, now you can use this xyz here. Now if you go to the output, see hello world, and this hello is coming from this XYZ component. Hello, I am XYZ. Now if you see hello, and this is inside the app component. Now let's understand the styling and creating HTML code in this component. Let me start from the scratch. I will take the div component here, and for this div I'll write some style. How do you write inline style here? By giving the double braces. Okay, first brace is to mention the style and second brace is for a object. Here let me take style properties, display. I will take the flex, and another property, justify content. I will take it center. Here see, in normal CSS, in inline CSS, you write justify dash C, right? But in this, in React.js, you will not use hyphens. You will use wherever the same CSS, old CSS code is there, but instead of hyphen, whenever the hyphen come, the next by removing the hyphen, you can create the first letter as a capital. Simply you need to replace the next letter of the hyphen with the capital letter. Align items, see, this is all the same case. Usually earlier you will have align dash items, okay, but now you will do align capital I, center. Now inside this div I will take another div, okay, another div with some properties. Here I will give the style width 100% and height I will give some 300 pixel, and background color I will give yellow. Okay, see, if I run this, I get something like this. Inside this I will take paragraph tag, okay, and I will write something like count 0, and for the paragraph I will write style text align center, and I will write font size to 50 pixel. Yeah, you see this, okay, and directly you're writing everything inside this inline, right? But you can take you can use JavaScript object as a style. For this example we will take one button, okay, button I will give count. If you see this button, it came here, right? I will give the CSS properties in an object. Let me take this button in another div, okay. Now let me take the CSS properties as one object. Box is equal to, here I am taking an object, and I will give display flex, same thing, okay, and justify content center, align items center. Now you see this button is there, so I will apply that div property, okay. Here I will not take another brace because this brace is already mentioned here because it is an object. Here I will write directly box. Once you do that, you see which one we have to given style. Okay, sorry, I should not give this style to this button. I should give this style to this div. Okay, now you see we got this. We will do some properties for this button. So for that button I will create another object. I will create properties for this here constant button. I will write properties here. Let me apply this button properties to this button. Before applying this button is simple. Now I will apply this style BUT. Now you see we got some beautiful button. Now if I click this counter should be, this number should get incremented, but it's not working now. For that we will see in later part. Okay, to do the counter part we need to use states. Okay, so what are state variables, how to update the UI, we will see that in the later part. Okay, and in the coming sessions in this tutorial we will cover HTML, CSS and JavaScript also. Even if you are not aware of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, we are covering that part also, and from scratch React.js we will cover. Thank you so much.